I'm going to share with you all of the things that I wish I knew the first day I had my concussion. I'm going to share with you all the supplements that have worked, and if you stick around to the end, I will share the one thing that worked like magic for me, one of my symptoms. So I'm giving you the shortcuts here. But blood work is good because, of course, everyone's different. I'm not a doctor. These are just things that they told me that could help with your symptoms. But when you have a concussion, you often have pain and you have inflammation in the body, which causes more pain. So one thing that you can do is take arnica, and there's a gel. You can use this, rub it along the base of your neck, and you can rub it across your forehead. It reduces inflammation. Arnica montana is something you can take sublingually. This one you can get much higher for higher trauma, and you just turn it, and there's little pellets in there. If you're not familiar with these, it has little pellets in there that you put under your tongue and they dissolve. Oop, one just fell out. And another thing that I discovered worked faster than Tylenol or Excedrin was turmeric, and that reduced inflammation quicker. Like within 10 minutes, I would have relief. Like when I had head pain initially and I couldn't sleep and I'd wake up from head pain, it was because of inflammation in the brain. Another thing that I took for pain too was peppermint tea. I just use this cute little strainer and I put it right in my cup for 1 cup of tea. It can steep, for 10 to 15 minutes before I have it. And sometimes I'll even put, green tea in with it, or even rooibos tea, because that is good for migraines. So I used to have a bowel movement every morning, and then after my accident, I didn't have one for like 3 or 4 days. I continued to have problems with my gut and being able to go to the bathroom. And so the first thing that got me going was milk of magnesia. And you can get that at a pharmacy, just on the counter, on the shelf at Walmart or any pharmacy. Castor oil, and you just, after a shower, you just rub it all over your gut, and it really helps soften and allow you to pass your stools. I'll sometimes feel like I have a hard time keeping my eyes open, and I just have brain fog and fatigue, and so you're working with these two opposites in energy, like having too much energy on the inside, like you just can't slow it down, and it's using up all your energy so that you don't have enough brain power. It's like a shortage of energy. You can't do everything that your body is telling you to do. So these supplements, you want to take things that kind of down-regulate the cortisol and the anxiety. So you're trying to give yourself energy, but also calm your body and your vestibular system down, like your nervous system down at the same time. I ended up being on a lot of magnesium supplements. This is a really good one, and I also ended up being on magnesium glycinate. I take this one twice a day, and this one was like really helpful for me because I'm sensitive to sound, and it makes me so that I don't get nauseous as easily. There are days when I don't get nauseous anymore from sound, but sometimes I still do. Every doctor I went to told me that they wanted to check my vitamin D level because it acts as a hormone. It regulates everything in your body, so it's important to make sure you have enough vitamin D. I live in Alaska, so all the doctors here that I've been to see wanted me doing 5,000 to 10,000 IUs of vitamin D, because we don't get as much benefit from vitamin D as you get in the lower 48. A lot of people struggle with sleep after a brain injury. It's like you have insomnia, but then you're so tired you can't stay awake. It's like it's really hard to regulate your sleep. And so one thing that has really helped me this is another magnesium, is Calm. and I just put a big teaspoonful of this in hot water before I go to bed, and I'll drink that at the end of the day, and that helps calm down my system. There are times throughout the day when just for no reason, it's like, it's the pedal to the metal, but I'm not in gear, and I'm just feel like my whole system is just going so fast. And so when that happens, I take L-theanine. It just takes the edge off, like, because it's harder to regulate your mood, and you're way more sensitive to stimulation of like any kind of even happy stress can cause, like just this revving inside. I will take a couple L-theanine supplements before I go to a situation where there's going to be a lot of people talking, and it just helps me just to stay calmer and not to get, headaches, and, your symptoms act up when your body can't keep up with. So also another thing for sleep at night is blood builder. I started getting restless leg after my brain injury, and I would just wake up I would wake up because I was restless. And so I started taking this Mega Food Makes It, and other iron supplements would make me really nauseous, but this one does not. So I just only take it, in the evening. Or mood is also another thing that is really hard to regulate, and it's not just you, it's actually your brain that's giving you issues. And so some people will get frustrated easily, they'll get angry easy, they cry easily, and not just easily like as in it comes on gradually, but it's like an instant, like somebody would be talking and they would say something and I would just start crying for no reason. And I would think, okay, this is not an appropriate response to like what is happening. Or some people will get angry like that, just that fast, and it doesn't correlate with the situation. It's like way more anger than that would have called for. And so so to help with mood and to regulate, one of the things that was recommended to me was 5-HTP. This also helps with anxiety and depression. This did not work for me, but again, it's good to work with a doctor, so that, it was recommended to me by two of my doctors, but for me, it made me nauseous, and so I do not take this, but it's good to work with a doctor so that you can problem solve your specific needs and your thing that helps with mood and also stress and anxiety is Relora. So this is, when I first took this, I was in really intense fatigue. All of my symptoms were so heavy and so intense, it felt like I was laying on the ground underneath a tank. There was no way I could get them off me. They were just so intense. So when I initially took Relora, I didn't know if it helped me at all. But then as I've come along in my healing process, I started having problems with anxiety and just depression. And then when I took this, then I noticed right away that it helped. So it depends on where you're at in your journey too. Some things might work for a while and then they quit working, or maybe you get so that you don't need them anymore. Another thing that's been helpful to me is Dr. Amen puts out Happy Saffron Plus, and this has it helps with mood and memory, which memory, especially short-term memory, is really something that affects a lot of us who've had a concussion, and that helps with memory. And then also alpha GPC, and I take one of these twice a day. But again, check with your doctor. They will match you with the things that are best for you. A tablespoon full of supplements. If I had to open every bottle every day and take each one of these out twice a day, I probably wouldn't do it because it'd be too much work. So something that I do to make it easier is I have little cups that I put them in. So, you know, this is just a little fruit cup from the store and this a little yogurt cup. And I do, like, all my morning ones will be in the little yogurt cups, and all my afternoon ones that I take are in these little fruit cups. Some of these supplements I only take once a day, and some of them I take twice a day. My nutritionist wants me to start off with 30 grams of protein in the morning, and I noticed a huge difference in my energy began to come back. It used to be I'd wake up and within a half an hour to 2 hours, depending on the day, I'd have to go back to bed again because I was just so tired. It took me a long time to find a protein mix that I actually liked. There are a lot of really disgusting protein mixes out there. And initially, I was too fatigued to even make a protein mix, like the thought of actually mixing it or putting it in a blender with other things just wasn't going to happen because I just didn't have the energy to do that. And so I started off with just having these like pre-made ones. This is one that I liked. It's called Owen. It has 32 ounces of protein. It's great for like if you're on the go, or ideally my nutritionist said the less processed foods you have, the better. So if you're going to have a protein shake, she preferred that I would make it myself, just because then it's, you know, not shelf stable, you know. So these are some that I found that I actually liked. And this is Garden of Life. It's raw organic meal, and it's vanilla chai. This one is tasted good, and it has 20 grams of protein and no sugar. You want to avoid sugar as much as possible because that causes inflammation in the body. I wish I would have known that right away when I had my injury, to avoid foods that cause inflammation, like gluten, so any kind of breads, and sugar, alcohol. Those things cause more inflammation. And I would notice that, oh, if I had, you know, a small glass of wine, then I'd get a headache. It was because the sugar in there was causing inflammation in my brain. Orgain also tastes really good. You can. This one is vanilla. It comes in chocolate too. It has 21 grams of protein, and if you don't eat meat, this one would be a good one that works. If you don't have an aversion to dairy, Costco makes this whey, and it's like the cheapest option. It has 25 grams of protein, and it also has BCAA, which is good for helping rebuild even your body. After having 30 grams of protein in the morning, she also wanted me to make sure I had electrolytes in the morning. So, you know, sometime if you're having a drink later in the morning, these are some options. So there's a limit. These are very salty. So I think I always put them in a whole quart of water because they are really salty to me. My favorite, if you do get these, is the watermelon. Then there's liquid IV, and this is energy. It has a little bit of caffeine in it, and I find that sometimes if I'm starting to get a headache, or if I wake up with a headache, if I have caffeine, it can help with my headaches. And if you've had a concussion for a while, you'll notice the difference. I can feel the difference between a headache from my brain being tired and just being sick, kind of headache kind of thing. Also, these are from Dr. Amen, and it's called Brain Boost, and it has electrolytes, but also L-theanine right in it, which helps, again, calm the body. And this helps me to be able to get my protein too. This is just a powder. You can mix it in with soup or any drink. Sometimes I'll even mix it in like with one of my little electrolyte drinks. In addition to protein, there are omega-3s. It's really good to have, like things like salmon, but it's It's also good to, there are supplements that you can take. And then MCT oil crosses the blood-brain barrier and helps with healing. So protein and fats help to heal the brain and provide the nutrients needed for healing. And creatine also helps rebuild the brain. Okay, so here is the supplement that saved me. You know, it's really embarrassing when you start crying for no reason and you're in public. And I've been around other people who have brain injuries, and I've seen them experience the same thing where they start crying because of their symptoms or and because of pain or being overwhelmed or just for no reason. And so I've seen people like cover up their face or put a cap in front of their face, because I was actually at a grocery store and there was a lady behind me, and she said that a friend of hers had had a stroke, and afterwards he just cries for no reason all the time, and how she feels so bad for him. And I said, oh my goodness, I have to tell you about what I discovered. I mean, Naturum sulfuricum, and it's 12 C's. And I started taking these under my tongue, and I quit crying all the time for no reason. And I do still cry, like when my brain's tired and I get overwhelmed, but it's not like I'm just crying for no reason all the time anymore. You take for granted your ability to regulate yourself, and so this gave me a shred of dignity. So if you know anyone who has had any kind of a brain incident, you could tell them about this, because they make it in like 36 or something, but you want the 12, and it says that it's for bronchial irritation, but it really works for crying. So I hope you have found something here that you can talk to your doctor about to try, and I wish you the best in your healing recovery, your journey. Hope this has saved you lots of money in doctors, and it took me a long time to find all of these answers. So I hope some of them work for you. Can't even tell you. I'm saving you hundreds of dollars just in protein powders, because there are so many nasty ones out there. So this one is not a supplement, but you turn it on. It's so cool. Look, it's got bubbles. It's pretty. It makes hydrogen water. All it does is it puts an electric current through this water, and then when you drink it, it acts as an antioxidant in your body.